Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gopi Jana Ballabha Giridharidhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Giridharidhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we are reading today from the Srimad-bhagavatam, 8th canto, chapter 5, text 6, which has a purport today. The chapter is called The Demigod's Appeal to the Lord. Oh, that's why it's dark in here. The light's not on. There were the lights on. The light switch. Okay. Huh? It's a little dark. Right? No problem. Tashanubhava katito gunascha paramodayaha Bhoman renunsa vimame Yo Vishnor Varnayed Gunan Tashanubhava Katito Gunascha Paramodayaha Bhomam Renunsa Vimame Yo Vishnor Varnayed Gunan Tashanubhava Katito Gunascha Paramodayaha Bhomam Renunsa Vimame Yo Vishnor Varnayed Gunan Kashanubhava Katito Gunascha Paramodayaha Om Anrenunsa Vimame Yo Vishnor Varnayed Gunan Tashanubhava Katito Gunascha Paramodayaha Om Anrenunsa Vimame Yo Vishnor Varnayed Gunan Tasha of the Supreme Personality of Godhead appearing as Vaikuntha. Anubhavaha great activities. Katitaha were explained. Guna transcendental qualities. Cha also. Parama Udayaha greatly glorious. Bhoman earthly. Renun particles. Saha someone. Vimame can count. Yaha such a person. Vishnu Lord Vishnu. Varnayet can count. Gunan the transcendental qualities. Although the great activities and transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's various incarnations are wonderfully described, sometimes we are unable to understand them. Yet, everything is possible for Lord Vishnu. If one could count the atoms of the universe, then he could count the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But no one can count the atoms of the universe, nor can anyone count the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Repeat after me. Although the great activities and transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's various incarnations are wonderfully described, sometimes we are unable to understand them. Yet everything is possible for Lord Vishnu. If one could count the atoms of the universe, then he could count the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But no one can count the atoms of the universe, nor can anyone count the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Counting the atoms of the universe. Yeah. Yes. Well, it's real. Everything is taken literally. So, purport of Srila Prabhupada. The Lord's glorious activities referred to in this connection took place after his personal bodyguards, Jai and Vijay, became Daityas. Daitya means demons. Having been cursed by the great sages Sanika, Sanatana, Sanat Kumar, and Sanandana. Jai, as Hiranyakashipu, had to fight with Varahadev, and that same Varahadev is mentioned in regard to the Vaivata millennium. The fighting, however, took place during the reign of the first Manu, Swayambhuva. Therefore, according to some authorities, there are two Varahas. According to others, however, Varaha appeared during the regime of Swayambhuva Manu and stayed in the water until that of Vaivata Manu. Some may doubt that this could be possible, but the answer is that everything is possible. If one could count the atoms within the universe, one could count the qualities of Lord Vishnu. But the atoms of the universe are impossible for anyone to count, and similarly, no one can count the transcendental qualities of the Lord. So, anything mentioned here? Who knows about the personal bodyguards of Lord Vishnu? Jai and Vijay? No. Okay. So we'll start there. Curses again. Sometimes the Lord actually has no. Sometimes the Lord feels a desire to fight, but he's not going to fight with just anyone. I mean, not everyone gets that. Not everyone gets that opportunity to fight directly with Krishna or Vishnu. So when he wants to fight, he has to engage one of his pure devotees in fighting. He gives them the opportunity. So the Lord created a situation. In the Vaikuntha planets, there are actually gatekeepers. here they said bodyguards. They're usually known as gatekeepers, and they make sure who nobody gets into the Vaikuntha planets who's not supposed to be there. Okay, so one day, a long time ago, very long time ago, I'm not sure if it was this creation. It doesn't say, but one time. Four saintly persons, they're sons of Lord Brahma. They're called the four Kumaras. Four Kumaras. So these four Kumaras, Kumara means first a young boy. But the four Kumaras are very old because they were one of the first, some of the first created entities within the universe, right at the very beginning of the universe. So you can imagine they're very old and they're still alive and active. Okay, and so one time, and these four Kumaras, they um, must have spiritual bodies because they actually could go to the Vaikuntha planets, and they actually were going there to see the Lord, and they got to the gate of the Vaikuntha planets, and there's two gatekeepers. Name of one was Jai, and the other one's name is Vijay, Jai and Vijay. Okay, these are servants of the Lord who are there to make sure that unqualified people don't slip into the spiritual world and cause a disturbance. Okay? But the four Kumaras, although very old, they appear as four little, maybe 4 or 5-year-old boys. They intentionally are not allowing themselves to grow up. And somehow they can do this. They didn't want to grow up. They didn't want to get entangled in household life and everything. They're very learned personalities, and they wanted to remain as brahmacharis forever. So they were brahmachari means unmarried man or boy who is practicing celibacy. He's under the guidance of a spiritual master like that. So they wanted to remain like that. They're also referred to as bachelors, but usually bachelor means somebody who's available and looking for association. But anyway, these four Kumaras are like that. So they decided to keep themselves young because when the body gets older, up to a certain age, puberty is called, then you start other kind of desires start coming into the mind, and you can get distraction. So they knowing that and having the ability, they mystically somehow kept them always in a young body, all four of them. So anyway, these four Kumaras, who are just like little kids, they show up at the gate of the Vaikuntha, and Jai and Vijay are the gatekeepers, and they say we want to see Lord Narayan. We've come here to see Lord Narayan. And the gatekeepers, not knowing who they were, and just seeing little kids, figured there's no way these guys could. There's no way these little kids could have qualified to go back to the spiritual world right now. There's no way. So you cannot come. There's no way. You're not qualified. So they're thinking like that, and so they wouldn't let the four Kumaras in. But the four Kumaras were very powerful, and they weren't just little kids. They were there since the beginning of the universe, beginning of one of the first sons of Lord Brahma. So they said, okay, you're going to be like that. We curse you. We curse you to. You say they cursed him. They cursed him. You lose your position here. And then Lord Narayan came and saw the situation, course, he already knew the situation, but he saw the situation. And he said to his gatekeepers, "Oh, well, these are my devotees, and they've cursed you, so I have to support their curse. They curse you. I gotta honor their curse. So whatever they said is going to happen. The curse was they'd have to fall down into the material existence. So, but he said, but I will give you a choice. I will not stop their curse, but I will give you a choice. And the choice is, you could choose to either take 3 births as my enemies, or you could take 7 births as my devotees." So they understood what it meant. Three births. Okay, they had to act as demons with 3 births, and they all they wanted to do was get back to their service of gatekeepers. So they said, okay, let's do the 3 births as your enemies, so we can get back to our service quickly. That was their thought. I mean, usually we think, who wants to become a demon? But they had that choice. Okay, I can get back to our service more quickly if we do this. And they understood that this was actually the Lord's desire for somehow. He arranged all this. So they were cursed, and they each took births. So this Jai is Hiranyaksha. So Jai, one of the gatekeepers, became Hiranyaksha, and the other one became Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyaksha was he was a demon. He was a big demon. He was actually took so much wealth, so much gold out of the earth, that the earth, actually, which is floating out there, well, we're on it, but it was floating, floating out in space by the Lord's arrangement. And he took so much out of the earth, that the earth lost balance and actually fell into the Garbhodak Ocean. You know what the Garbhodak Ocean is? Garbhodak Ocean is in the universe. The universe is not just a wide open space that goes on forever and ever and ever. That's the modern idea. The universe is just unlimited. The universe is not unlimited. The universe has a size, and there are many universes. There are many universes. But each universe has a particular size. The size of our universe is 4 billion miles across. It says, Srimad-bhagavatam says like that, 4 billion miles on the inside, and in that universe, we say a lot about the universe, but I want to not break too far from the story. So in this we were talking about the Garbhodak Ocean. Garbhodak Ocean. So what happens is in the material creation, first Mahavishnu, big Mahavishnu, is out there. We're reading the other day actually, is from the pores of his skin, little seedling forms and from his breathing also, little seedling forms of universes are coming, and they expand. So he's producing the actual universe, many, many millions of universes out there. And then he expands himself inside of each one, and in another form called the Garbhodak Vishnu, Mahavishnu, and then inside the universe is Garbhodak Vishnu. So Garbhodak Vishnu, he's inside the universe, which is a closed ball, and inside that universe, he's from water coming from his body. guess you would say perspiration or something, but it's coming from his body. He actually fills up. It's like an ocean. Half the universe is filled with that kind of water. That ocean is called the Garbhodak Ocean, and he remains on that, lying on his Anantashesha or Sheshanaga, the snake. I mentioned that the other day too. So he's lying there, enjoying himself on his snake couch, like that. His snake couch is always glorifying him 24 hours a day, with his thousands of heads, thousands of mouths. So anyway, that Garbhodak Ocean is there. And then, how do we get onto the Garbhodak Ocean here? We were talking about Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha, so he was this big demon, very, very big demon. He was huge in size. And he was exploiting the earth, extracting so much, I think, gold out of it. He caused the earth to actually fall from where it's floating in space, actually fall into this Garbhodak Ocean. Finished. So, of course, that's the big calamity. The earth falls into the ocean, into the Garbhodak Ocean. So the Lord came, and he always comes to save the devotees, and he comes in a particular form to save the devotees. Okay, and this form that he came in this time, is called Varaha. Varaha actually means pig or hog or something. It means so, but it's transcendental. It's not like you go down the street to the farm and you see a bunch of pigs walking around. No, this. When the Lord appears in some form, it's not that he becomes degraded because he took that form. That form is just as transcendental as he is, Krishna is, in the spiritual world. They're spiritual forms. But he comes for his pleasure, and in these particular different forms to perform certain kind of activities. So he came as the boar incarnation. So boar actually means like wild pig, I guess. But pigs are known for going into dirty places, and you think of pigs and mud pins and things like that. So the Lord came in the form of this Varaha form, and the first thing he did is he had to save the earth that had fallen inside the ocean. So he went down in his pig form, the boar incarnation in that form, and he goes down to the bottom of the Garbhodak Ocean, and he scoops up the earth on his nose. He picked up like that. You imagine the size of Raha. He's so big that the earth was like this on him. So he picked up the earth and placed it back in the sky where it belonged, and then he proceeded to fight with the demon that had caused that problem. And he went on for a long time fighting with him. I should have a picture here, I would think. No? Sorry, I don't see any pictures. No. Sorry, there's no pictures of Varaha. So anyway, he picked up the earth, he put it back safely, and then he fought with this demon for a long time, Varaha and Hiranyaksha, and eventually, when he was tired of playing with it, smashed him and he killed the demon. Okay, and then at the same time, or shortly thereafter, another demon. Actually, the other demon was already there, but he was known as Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu means Hiranyakashipu means gold, and it means soft bed. So you're very interested in wealth for enjoyment, and very much interested in soft bed for, sex and so things like that. So he just completely was a total materialistic person, and he's very powerful. How he became powerful is another story, so we won't go into that right now. But anyway, he did become very Hiranyakashipu was very powerful, and he was very, very upset that this boar incarnation had defeated and had killed his brother Hiranyaksha. So these were Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were these. This is one birth for each of them so far, as demons, so that the Lord could actually come and fight with them. And of course, the Lord would fight with them, and then he would kill them, of course. And they went, when they were killed, usually they could go merge in Brahma Jyoti. The demons are killed, but they took three births like that. Another one was with Ravana and somebody else in Ravana's family, and I forget who the other two are. I'm sorry, but there were three demons, and so these servants in the Vaikuntha, they did this for Lord Vishnu. And then, of course, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here in the purport that about this example of the atoms. So we say, God is great. God is great. Shishi Gornitai, Shishi Radha, Braja Vihar, Jagannath, Balaram, Lady Subhadra, Nishigane, Pawad Maharaj, Ki Jai. We talk about how God is great, but what does anyone actually know about God? What does anyone actually know about God? How many, we're given a lot of information here, but when you ask someone on another path, what does God do? What does he look like? How does he spend his time? What are his qualities? What's his nature? And nobody can really give anything because that kind of information is not really given. Just God is great. God is great. God is good. But it's actually very difficult. Actually, it's practically impossible to develop love for someone if you don't know anything about them. Right? You don't really know. You can say God is great. We're taught that you must love God, but to actually, if you have another human being, and if there's some other human being and you want to develop, develop some kind of a relationship with them, you got to know something about them. There's got to be some exchange. you simply cannot develop a loving relationship with someone if you just don't know anything about them. There's something about their qualities. There's something that's attracting you. It's not that there's, you know, not just there's you have to know something about them. So we want to develop a loving relationship with God, with Krishna. So how can we do that if we don't know anything about God, other than that God is great? God is great. God is good. How is He great? How is He good? What does He do? How do we develop a personal relationship with someone if we don't know anything personally about them, about their personality? And nobody knows about God directly, because that information is just not given in other scriptures. But this is a very special thing of the Vedas. And you may ask, it's a good question actually. So why are we given, or why does the Vedas give so much knowledge about God, and other religions are basically, you're okay, you gotta worship God, you gotta respect God, and you've got or you gotta fear God. These are the things that are usually emphasized, but they don't really give much knowledge about God, because that knowledge is not given to them. So we say, well, why did not, just like Jesus, He taught, what He taught. Why did He not teach all this information? And He said it Himself. He says, I have so much more to teach you, I have so much more to tell you, but you cannot bear to hear it at this time. Right? You cannot bear to hear it. So each religious teacher, each religious leader, especially empowered ones, Jesus, and in Islam, there's Prophet Muhammad, and so on like that. These are empowered personalities who are giving that knowledge. They teach according to time, place, and circumstance. Sanskrit is called Desha, Kala, Parta. A place, a time, and the particular circumstances or a particular audience. So you don't go whoever they were teaching in that particular time in history, they taught what there was, at least people had an ability or an opportunity to understand. But they didn't try to teach everything, because people just weren't ready for it. And basically, until people give up sinful activities, then they're not going to be able to understand very much. So and yet here we are, much after the appearance and introduction of Christianity, Judaism, Islam, all these things were past, and here we are, and somehow or other, this knowledge is here. We're reading it, we're studying it, we're trying to live it like this. How is that possible? It's because Lord Chaitanya incarnate. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, and he came different reasons, but one of the reasons he came was specifically to give this kind of knowledge, and also to give the method for this age to become Krishna conscious. This is why he came, and that in the method that the method that he gave is Well, it's directly devotional service. The method he gave is chanting the holy names of the Lord in mass. I mean, it's like Harinam, but also we chant privately. So that chanting of the holy names of the Lord, he gave that as the practical means to become Krishna conscious. Because by having that, and by receiving this knowledge through the right source, which means the spiritual master through the disciplic succession, then we have a chance to understand this higher knowledge. Others taught what the people could understand, but I can say for myself, if I had grown up, I grew up with Christian background. If I had not had that, if I was trained up, taught to be an atheist, let's say, if I was taught from childhood that there is no God, then it would have been very hard, I would imagine, to have taken up Krishna consciousness in the first place. But the having some religious background, a lot of principles were there, and when we find out about Krishna consciousness, it's very. I thought it was very easy to take up the path. It was just like here's the same thing we were learning, but with more knowledge, which is what personally I was lacking. Because certain information, like why if God loves us all the same, why is there so much inequality in the world? I mentioned that the other day in class too. God is all. So I was thinking like that. I like God, or I would say I love God because that's what we're told. You love God. Okay, I love God. But I love God, but I don't understand why He does certain things that He does. And for me, that was a little problematic because you love God, but you think, why is God being so? We were taught that He loves everyone the same. He gives everyone the same chance. He doesn't discriminate between this person and that person. So you're thinking like that. You're being taught like that, and yet you see how one person's born in a bad condition in life. Somebody else is born in a very good condition, and sometimes a person's luck changes from bad to good, or from good, and it can go right down. And how do these things? So I would question, how do these things happen? How is this possible? If God is allowing it, or God's sitting back and playing games with us, enjoying, there's a lot of speculation. But but that's when the understanding of karma and reincarnation become very important to us, because we can say, okay, all this is happening to me, but I can't blame it on God, because actually I'm just getting reactions, good or bad reactions, for something I did in the past, or these other people, or some suffering, some enjoying. They're getting reactions for their past activities. So we're thinking like that, and anyway, the point is that this higher knowledge this higher knowledge is given to us in the philosophy, and that this philosophy is very, very important for us to understand why do we do what we do? Why is the material world the way it is? It's not just that it just happened. It certainly is not that it just happened without any God's control. The world is the way it is because it's a response to our activities and our accepting or denying the existence of God. This is why the world is the way it is. This is why there's suffering and enjoyment and so many problems. And in the Kali Yuga, things will get worse and worse materially. Kali Yuga, things will get worse, because this is just the nature of the age. And but also in that same Kali Yuga, the Sankirtan movement, for some period of time anyway, will get better and better. So there's a golden era. It's called Lord Chaitanya's golden era. So it started about 500 years ago. It started with his appearance, just a little more than 500 years ago. And this is a period when, for 10,000 years, this knowledge and this way of this Krishna consciousness will increase more and more and more and more. I guess it will increase and it will gradually reduce. But for 10,000 years, this goes on like this. Until the end. So we are very fortunate to have taken up this path, and we should stay with it, and we should share it with others as much as we can. Anyway, these are a few points here in this purport. Any questions, comments?
So finally, we should find out through both of the demons, and
yes.
The rest of the story we'll find out about the next two births. We have two.
Yeah, one was is with Ravana, and I forget who the other. One of them took birth as Ravana, the other I don't remember.
And we'll find out about the rest of the story in the next.
No, little by little. Well, actually, this next Wednesday is Lord Nrsingadev's appearance day. So Lord Nrsingadev is the form of the Lord that killed Hiranyakashipu and saved his devotee Prahlad. So that one we'll speak about that. That whole history was, it was about Lord Nrsingadev, but it was actually more about his devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. The whole section about Hiranyakashipu and Lord Nrsingadev killing him is really just a big glorification of Prahlad Maharaj, the Lord's devotee. Anyway, we'll give this in the morning. I'm not sure what we'll do, but I know in the evening I'm supposed to give the class on that. It's the festival day. So we'll see what Krishna gives me to say at that time, and that Hiranyakashipu. So he was one of these demons who was just playing that part for the Lord's pleasure. He was playing that part to give pleasure to the Lord.
Looks like the Lord is always in a playful mode, and he said sometimes he has a mode to fight.
Yes, yeah, he likes to come out. We in the material world sometimes they have also feel the mood. I actually want to fight. Krishna had mock fights with his boyfriends out in the field. Nobody's trying to actually kill anyone, but they would play, roll around and wrestle, and those kind of things. So for pleasure, mock fighting, fighting for pleasure. So the Lord sometimes he likes to fight. Sometimes he likes to do other things. Sometimes he enjoys enjoying during the night with the gopis and so on. He has many things. But when he wants to fight, really fight, and give it all, then he gives that opportunity for a devotee who has to, of course, act as a demon, because nobody's going to fight Krishna, seriously fight Krishna like that in there. No devotee will seriously go and really try to kill Krishna. They have to be covered and be playing the part, covered so they can play the part of a demon, so they can fight in that way with Krishna. Because nobody else, no devotee knowing what they're doing is going to actually want to kill Krishna. So Hiranyakashipu forgetting who he was originally, he was trying to kill. Well, in this case, he was trying to kill Lord Nrsingadev. Hiranyakashipu was Lord Nrsingadev. So he tried. Of course, he was thoroughly defeated until Lord Nrsingadev came and picked him up and put him on his lap and ripped out his heart and wrapped his intestines around him again. Pretty ugly scene. But for those who were devotees of the Lord, watching him rip apart this demon, they're very happy. Because Hiranyakashipu was previously, he didn't come just to fight with Lord Nrsingadev, he came to take over the universe. Anyway, that's another whole thing. That'll come up. I'm sure when that comes up in the Srimad-bhagavatam. But anyway, it's in the Srimad-bhagavatam in detail about Hiranyakashipu, and also there's a whole chapter here. Maybe we'll come up in this one, Hiranyaksha and Varaha. Anyway, any other questions?
So it appears that all fallen entities, all the demons, are former devotees.
Not all demons, but the demons that come and that directly fight with Krishna. Yeah, they're because Krishna won't fight with just anyone. And that's a special privilege to be able to fight with Krishna. And no devotee in the mood of a devotee is going to really try to kill Krishna. So they've got to be covered a little bit so they can think that I'm a demon, and therefore and that Krishna or Vishnu is my enemy, and now I'm going to kill him. So otherwise they can't do it. So these three were covered. They're covered in that way, so they forgot their original position in Vaikuntha. Otherwise, they couldn't perform this play acting in this way and really fight with the Lord. Yeah, there are other demons who are not. It's not that everyone who's a bad person or a demon or something is necessarily a devotee in disguise. But those who come and end up fighting with Krishna directly, or with Vishnu directly, or one of the incarnations directly, then they're devotees. They're devotees who are covered, and who have been given. They're doing that. Actually, that is a service, but they're covered. So they don't. Otherwise, it would be very difficult. Just like Mother Yashoda, if she understood that Krishna is God, there's no way she's going to be treating him the way she does as her little completely dependent child, because she's constantly in anxiety about what's going to happen to him. He disappears for 2 seconds. Krishna, where'd you go? Totally afraid that something's happening to him. So, because she's covered, Yogamaya covered, she can see herself as a mother and the protector, the maintainer of her little child. So it's like that. So the other side is a demon who is covered by that same potency, or a devotee that's covered by the same potency. So when you can think about it, I think as a demon, he forgets his real position, and he forgets his relationship with Krishna. But he fights because he allowed himself to be in that situation because he was for the pleasure of Krishna. I don't think anyone came in this morning. So we'll end here, and tomorrow we will go on to verse 7 and maybe a few others until we get a purport. So Srila Prabhupada ki